Juan Ponce de Leon was believed to have been born in 1474, in the village of Santorves de Campos, located in the northern part of Spain. Although little is known of his immediate family, tracing his name back to the 11th century, it is likely he was related to Ponce Velez, who was the son of Vilar Gutierrez and Sancho de Cabrera of Leon, with a distant link to the kings of Vasconia. During his time in Hispaniola, he met and married a local innkeeper's daughter, Leonora, and together they had 4 children, 3 daughters, and 1 son. Little is known about the actual education Juan may have received. Suffice it to say, he was of noble birth and from a wealthy family, and as such he would have received an education as befitted his station, and future requirements. As soon as he was able, he took up a military career in the war against the Emirate of Granada. Once that matter was settled, and his services were no longer required at home, he looked elsewhere for opportunities. One such opportunity took him on his first voyage to the New World, with Christopher Columbus, who was embarking on his second voyage. On this particular venture they were heading for Hispaniola, commonly known today as the Dominican Republic. Having reached the Caribbean in November of 1493, they continued until they reached what we know today as Puerto Rico. He would ultimately spend many years in this region, undertaking military action against the native people, under orders from the appointed governor, Nicolas de Ovando. Juan Ponce de Leon was rewarded with a grant for land, and sufficient native slave labor, to work the land. He was also appointed frontier governor. Juan Ponce de Leon would become famous for formally being the first European to land on Florida, which for a considerable amount of time, was thought to be an island. While journeying to discover the land to be called Florida, they had their first encounter with the Gulf Stream. As the trio of ships sailed south, having landed near what is St. Augustine, they were bombarded with terrible weather conditions, and during this, they lost sight of their smallest vessel, for 2 days, this being, because it had been caught up in the Gulf Stream and taken eastwards. There has been much speculation down the centuries, of Juan's search for the fountain of youth, which it may transpire, had been a misinterpretation of a phrase regarding a local brew, produced in Puerto Rico. The word ved, for vine, was possibly mistaken for vida, meaning life, translating fountain vine into fountain of life. Having encountered problems with the local politics on the islands, Juan Ponce de Leon decided it best he returned to Spain, to try and sort out the situation in person. It took Juan 2 years to resolve his issues to his satisfaction, before he could return to his family. His final voyage to Florida would be to attempt to set up a new colony. He outfitted 2 ships with some 200 men, consisting of priests, farmers, and skilled workers, together with horses, and other domestic animals, and farming equipment. No sooner had they made land, than the party was attacked by local natives, and Juan Ponce de Leon was speared in the leg with a poisoned arrow. The party of colonists retreated back to their vessels, and set sail for Havana, Cuba, where Juan Ponce de Leon died of his wound in July, of 1521. His body was buried in the crypt of San Jose Church, in Puerto Rico, until his remains were moved to the Cathedral of San Juan Bautista.